Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else
Done.
to add?
No,
Or you
no,
want-
Sparta, you go.
Alright, I will.
Do it.
Okay, fine. West Kai division, I think this is the strongest one, even though they have some good competition with North Kai's division. I mean, they have my team, which in the preseason hasn't won, but I still think I have a strong team. They do generally do pretty well, so I think that's good. Team Rugrats has been pretty impressive since they have Go Tanks and they have a lot of power, and they added Pan, who's, I'm pretty sure, better than Chi-Chi.
Yeah, step
So
up
that's-
at least. Yeah.
Team Blades, good team. I think they're probably going to wind up being at the top, even though there's, like, a whole bunch of teams that could definitely fight for that. And Team Muscle, they won last season. They're a good team. They're taking on Sin Shenron in place of Bojack, and even though they're kind of the same since they both have trap shooters, Sin Shenron still does a bit more damage and has a better combo setup, and
They're not putting Shenron.
yes they are. It's in the final customization thing. We're going
Balls.
Don't Apothec. I'll take care of Shenron.
What?
I'll take care. I'll customize him. Yeah, no, don't worry, Apothec. The thing is with that, and Ivory Mask messaged me about it. He really wanted to put Shin in there, but he wasn't sure because he hadn't heard back from his team. But it looks like I think maybe an hour ago they finally made the choice. So
Okay, I might have derped.
what?
I think I might have put Brawley as Sin Shenron and Bojack as Sin Shenron.
That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry. I'll verify. I'm gonna verify pretty much everything before we go into the match.
But yeah, anyway,
Yeah,
I think this is a team with generally pretty above average and really good teams in it. And if I had to guess, and this is really tough, I'd still say like Team Blades and Team Muscle have a good chance of being at the top. Then again, like all of them do. I think this might be a pretty even thing throughout the entire division, because it's really hard to pick because all of them definitely have their strengths and they don't have tons of weaknesses. I do think the ones that do have slight weak links are the Majins, unfortunately, since I don't think Bobbity is the best, even though he can be. And Team Rugrats has some slightly weaker characters, mostly in the form of Pan, but still, I think it's going to be a pretty even fight in the win-loss record throughout the entire division. That's just my opinion. That's why I think it's the best, and I'll just go over which one I think is the best through the weakest divisions. I think West Kai's is going to be the strongest. North Kai followed up pretty close. Then I'm pretty sure I'm going to go with South Kai's division, with East Kai's division being the weakest.
We're talking about who has the best overall win-loss records.
Yeah, for the division.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm talking about strong divisions here. So.
What about you, Piff?
All right. Oh, geez. There are a lot of good teams on here, and I'd hate to throw this team under the bus, but all right, I'll go through all of them. Majins have a very high chance of winning, but they're a glass cannon. When they do not fire, they are pretty much useless, which is terrible. But they have high promise, but sometimes it doesn't deliver, and that's when they lose. Team Rugrats, I've seen the matches, probably because they were just fighting really good teams, but they haven't been doing too well. It's going to be really interesting to see fusions in the league and see how that will grow, and see how the rules change for fusions. I'm really looking forward to that. Team Blades, there's a lot of good characters in Team Blades, and that's really hard to say for somebody who just got into the division. But I can definitely see them. I can see them taking this away, honestly. And Team Muscle, well, they won last league. I was supporting them last league pretty much as my kind of sub team, because I got in it late and I was like, yeah, if anybody, Team Muscle. But they're still a solid team. They got a replacement for, I would say, a slightly higher version of what they had before. And okay, list. I would say the list would go, shoot. I would go with... It's really just a tie-up, like a really close tie-up between Team Blades and Team Muscle, because I don't know how Team Blades is really going to do. I think they're going to do well, of course, but I don't know how well. And Team Muscle, that they've already done really well, but there's this other team that has a lot of promise, but I don't know. So I'd have to have them 1 and 2, Majins 3, a close 3, and Rugrats. It might catch up to Majins, but I'm just gonna guess no. So I'd say Rugrats would be at the bottom. I'm sorry, Rugrats.
I'm kind of with you there. It's such a hard division to rate because, for exactly why you said. Now, Team Muscle, they are the league champions, but I don't think anyone saw that coming. It's not like, you know, if Team Android had won, everyone would have seen that coming. Team Muscle literally came from behind. They were, at the end of Season 1, they weren't even sure if they were making it to the playoffs. That's how far from behind they came. And it just, when they got to the playoffs, they just were phenomenal. So it's kind of like, well, were they a flash in the pan, or was this really like them hitting their peak, or what? So I'm kind of on the fence about Team Muscle. They might be fantastic. They might just have had some really good weeks. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Blades, I'm with you. I think Blades have a lot of promise. But we haven't seen enough to really develop a strong opinion for them. But I think they're going to be a really strong team. Rugrats, kind of the same. We haven't seen a lot, but I think the Gotenks fusion and if GT Goku ever starts transforming, I think he's going to be a massive contender. And then you have the Majins, who were really impressive. They almost went all the way. They were consistently a good team. So for me, I would say that this is probably the strongest division. I really think this is going to have, like Sparta, I think this is going to have the most wins out of any of the divisions. But if I had to choose who was first, I really don't know if I could do that. I really don't have a clue how this division is going to play out. I'm really going to be interested in seeing, because right now I could say that any team could potentially be in first or fourth place. I really don't have an opinion one way or the other. Not until, give me a couple weeks, maybe I'll form an opinion. But now, as it stands, this is a division where anything could go, I think. So, so is there anyone who doesn't? Because I think I'm kind of with Sparta on this. I think West Kai is the strongest division, followed closely by North, then South, then East. Anyone disagree with this? Like, if we were to say which teams are going to have the best wins and least losses.
Let's see. I would go with West, North, South, East.
Yeah. What about you, Apothic? Is that pretty much the same way you go?
Yep.
So we're all in consensus on that. I think that we all think. So yeah, and you know, it'll be funny because you know at the end of the season we'll be completely wrong.
That could very easily happen. There is some random chance thrown in here, but still, I think that is how it's going to play out.
Okay, so last thing for the night before we actually start the season, as a matter of fact, we're gonna go with picks. All right, and this one, give me your analysis on them. Let's start with Sparta. We're gonna go game by game and go with each one. First match tonight is Team Namek versus the Blades. Sparta, what do you think?
Blades. I think they have a lot of promise, and Namek has been slacking a little bit lately. I don't think Namek's a bad team. I just think the Blades are a very good team.
All right, Balthic, what about you?
Blades, because they're bosses.
Oh, yeah, I guess I didn't even have to ask that. Piff, what about you?
Sorry, could you give me the list?
It's Team Namek versus the Blades tonight.
He just said it.
I'm focusing on putting Batars on. Have you not been listening to me?
I never said anything. I knew what you were doing. It's Namek versus the Blades.
Alright, I'd have to go with Blades. Sorry that didn't take too long, but
No,
that's
that's
not
fine.
what I think.
You know, it's weird, and I'm not doing this just to be different. I think I'm going Namix. I think that the Namix are an impressive and very strong team, and I think they just haven't been up to their potential. And I think that Namix are going to come out the gate strong tonight. I really do.
Yeah. I do think it could be very close. So
I think that the Blades. I think the Blades are going to be a really strong team overall for the season, but I think that the Namix are just going to hit the ground running, and they're probably going to take this one. That's my thinking. All right, so match 2, the Rugrats versus the Ginyu Force. Sparta, what do you think?
Rugrats. I just think they're a better team than the Ginyu Force. I like the Ginyu Force and all. They're funny. They're a very enjoyable team to watch, but I still think the Rugrats are going to beat them.
Apothic?
Yeah, I agree with Sparta. The Ginyu Force is awesome, but I think the Rugrats are going to win. They've shown a lot more promise.
Piff?
I'm gonna have to go with the Ginyu Force.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
I really do.
Cool. And then we're on who you actually think is going to win, not who you like more, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I also have to go with the Rugrats. I like the Ginyu Force. They are a team favorite for sure. But I do think the Rugrats are probably going to pull this one out. So, match 3, the Valkyries versus the Majins. Piff, I shouldn't even have to ask, but what do you think?
You said Piff.
I'm sorry, Sparta.
Okay, I guess we're just going to keep going in the same order.
Yeah.
This one, Valkyries can be good and Majins can be bad. I'd have to say, in general, I think the Majins will win, but since the Valkyries have a new team set up, I predict that it'll be very close, so it's kind of hard, but since I'm the captain, I really should side with the Majins because I do think they're a little bit stronger, but still, I do predict it'll be close.
And sorry, Piff, I'm trying to keep the same order so that you can concentrate more on what you're doing. Sorry.
That is okay.